what you're describing is so ordinary
Yeah.
for a person of faith who goes through a discernment, goes through, is it really for me? Like me? You know, why me? You know, I have other things I could do. You had a career. I had an art career.
Yeah.
But eventually,
Yes.
he comes knocking.
Yeah, yeah. You know, you have to check it out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Hello, this is Father Louis SCURTI once again with Sister Clare Marie of the Poor Clares. And I can say that completely because she is, as of yesterday, officially making her solemn promises and vows to the Poor Clare order. And we were here for the ceremony, beautiful ceremony, and it's online. I'll put that little tag in our credits if you want to see the whole event. Very well done and photographed and videoed, and the sound is wonderful. And the bishop was here, the head Franciscan of the area was here, and he gave a great homily.
He did.
And history of St. Clare.
Yes, it was excellent.
So I'm here with Sister Clare Marie again. We're going to continue. So join us. That was such a beautiful history of Clare herself and the development of the Poor Clares, even, I mean, 700 years ago, even to today, here in Nuns Island. That was so well done.
Yeah, yeah, 800 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
it is,
beautiful.
It is amazing, yeah.
And he kept referring to the sisters on the other side, and let me describe it. The chapel is half lay people, and then there's a wall, but it's wide open, and you can see into the back chapel, and that's where what the Franciscan called the ladies, the sisters who live here. How many live here now?
There are 10 of us.
Okay, so 10 on the other side, and the music, you'll hear it on the video. It was beautiful, but he kept referring to as the ladies, which is interesting.
Yes, it is.
Now his title was?
He's the provincial of the Franciscan order.
Okay, of all of Ireland?
Of all of Ireland,
okay.
Yes.
So he's, in church vocabulary, he would be the equivalent of a bishop.
Yeah, yes.
And yet the bishop of the diocese was here as a guest.
Yes.
So he welcomed the bishop to the Mass, but it was really up to the bishop to welcome him into the diocese.
That's right.
It's complicated, but very, very friendly and very outgoing.
Yes, and we would be friendly with the bishop and with the priests of Galway.
It was very, very beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, we were doing your history, and we experienced Medjugorje and Lourdes and the faith enlightenment that you experienced at Lourdes. Yes. And then you're coming back. You continued going to Lourdes, to Medjugorje for pilgrimages.
Yes.
Okay.
I suppose I knew it was like a thirst.
Oh, interesting.
It was like a thirst or a hunger that I had for prayer, for the faith.
Right.
And maybe knowing as well that I needed it. That I needed this nourishment to keep me on the right track, to keep me going.
I like that, with the need, the hunger and the thirst.
A thirst.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I suppose a thirst, but a love for. I would say that I was growing more and more in love with the Lord and in prayer.
So the connection was building.
The connection was building, and with Our Lady and our Lord. Yeah, it was.
And what was the next, based on that? What was the next step that you felt you had to take?
I suppose I continued going on the pilgrimages until I felt the Lord saying to me, "There's something else. There's another step now."
Yeah.
There's another step now.
Nice
to take.
visiting, but let's move on.
Yes.
That's funny.
There's another step now. So, as I was saying earlier, I was off work, and I was started to feel this draw to religious life, to a contemplative life of prayer, and I felt that it would be an enclosed order.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
How did that come? Enclosed order. That's so different.
I suppose just because I was having this desire to give myself absolutely, completely to the Lord, and to have as few distractions as possible. Maybe that's why that was coming to me.
And was there any conflict between your vocation of nursing and now here the vocation of enclosure? Like obviously in here you're not going to be nursing to the public.
I think well, I think maybe there was already a kind of a letting go that I was maybe. I think I was letting go a bit, I think, of what I was doing, because there was more. Because there was a draw to more.
Clear.
I wasn't completely attached to nursing, because there was this strong, very strong draw to something more.
That's clear.
Yeah.
That's good.
But I suppose when I felt this, I was a bit like, well, yes, I do want to give my life completely to the Lord, but there probably was a part of me like, oh gosh, how would I do that? You know, that's a big
step.
Ask, a big step. Yeah.
Wow.
So I approached different people to help me with discernment in that area.
Like what kind of people?
A Dominican nun.
Okay.
I went to, and I also spoke to a Franciscan brother. So they felt that I did seem to have a vocation to religious life, but I would have to discern further where and to what, order or community. So I did a weekend retreat with the Carmelite order. They're also enclosed order. And while it was lovely weekend, and I really felt at home with the Divine Office, for some reason I wasn't feeling a draw to go back there. So I started coming to Mass here in the Poor Clares, 8 a.m. Mass, because I was working locally. And when I started coming to Mass here, I would meet the sacristan different mornings, Sister Paul, and she actually showed myself and my friend around the parlours one day. But there was one morning that I noticed a poster in the chapel porch, and it was, let's say, it was called a cloister day, which was really a day where you could come and ask questions about the Poor Clares, find out more, about the Poor Clares, and meet the sisters. So I came to that day, and when I came to that...
How many people attended?
There were 3 of us, 3 people. And
the birds singing
yes,
to us. That's outside. You can hear that outside noise.
The seagulls.
That's right. The seagulls. That's right.
But yes. But when I came on that day, I already was feeling that this was the place. Now I would have to discern further, but I was feeling that this was the place. And one thing that was drawing me in a special way to here is that we each of us, of the nuns, we spend time before the Blessed Sacrament every day, and also we rise at night time to pray before the Blessed Sacrament. We do
as a group or individually.
There would be a few of us that would do it each night. It's kind of a rota basis.
Right.
But I suppose I had great devotion to the Blessed Sacrament outside, to spend time before the Blessed Sacrament.
Sure.
I felt that that's where I drew an awful lot of my strength on my faith journey.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And it was such an important thing for me to have that, you know, to be able to continue to have
as part
that
of your life. Yeah.
my life. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was a big part of what was drawing me at that stage.
That's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. And the other two women, did they become affiliates in any way, or no?
They didn't. No. No. One of them may have joined another order.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So so what was the now the audience is with us and they want to know, how do you get in? What's the
Okay.
what are the steps?
The steps.
And then I want to spend a whole experience on cloister. What is that all about? But not yet.
Okay.
So
Yes. So then, so after that day, and I suppose maybe it seemed that I was interested, and maybe that I might be a suitable candidate. But I started coming and meeting with the sisters regularly. We'd have a chat, you know, kind of an informal chat, and it was decided then that we would organise a 2-week live-in where I would come and spend 2 weeks here inside with the sisters, living the life for the 2 weeks.
Right.
So the cloister day had been in November, and it was the following May that I came in for the 2 weeks. And I suppose when I was here for the 2 weeks, I felt the Lord putting it on my heart. This is the place. This is where I'm calling you to. And the sisters seem to be happy enough with me to keep the contact. Keep the contact going.
Absolutely.
And we continued meeting after that. I was continuing with my nursing, and we met kind of frequently. And then it was decided that I would take leave the leap of faith and come in. And that was the following January that I entered.
And when you entered, what was your title?
When I entered, I was called a postulant.
Okay.
And that's where you still you're wearing your own clothes. As a postulant, you wear a skirt and top. But you're still in your own clothes. You're living the life, and you're doing that for a year. Discernment is happening whether to proceed to the next step. The next step is called your reception, and that's where you would be deciding to enter more into the Poor Clare way of life. You get the religious the habit, and you get the cord. But you don't have any knots on it at the time. You haven't made any vows.
The knots represent the vows.
The knots represent the vows.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the 4 vows: poverty, chastity, obedience, and enclosure.
Right.
Well, enclosure is not really a vow as such, but we've a knot for enclosure.
Interesting.
Yes. And
was a knot yesterday part of the ceremony?
No, I got the cord with the knots for my first profession.
Okay.
First profession. But yes, so so I entered in the January. Sorry, I had already entered. I got the habit, and I got my religious name, Clare Marie. My Christian name was Anne.
Yes.
And it's funny, the Mother Abbess at the time, she brought me into the office, and I was to pray about what name I might like, and I was praying, and a bookmark with Clare on it would pop up. Something else in a book would pop up with Clare on it. Clare was popping up all over the place, and she brought me into the office, and she said, well, she's now regarding your new name, your religious name, what about Clare?
No.
What about Clare? What about Clare? And I said, well, I said, that's amazing, because that's the name that's been coming up for me. Popping up for me. And she said, well, we haven't had a Clare in quite a while, because there was a Sister Clare here, but she had passed away a number of years ago.
Wow.
So she said, yeah, she says, well, Clare, and she says, and maybe Clare Marie, because each one of us here has the title Mary with our name, like Sister Mary Faustina, Mary Colette, or you could have the name after. So it was decided that I would be Clare Marie.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful.
Yes.
And in the Franciscan order, Clare is number one. She founded the Poor Clares in cooperation with St. Francis of Assisi in 1300s. So Clare is a very significant name.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yes. Yeah. So that was the name that I was given. Yeah.
So I mean, from external perspective, you dress now. You look like a nun. You have a name as a nun. And what is the next formal step to enter the order? As you enter the order, what was the next step?
When I became a postulant, or when I got the habit?
When you got the habit, after that.
When I got the habit. So I got the habit, and I was still in what's called the novitiate.
Okay.
So like a learner.
Okay.
And I had a directee or novice mistress, who guided me and accompanied me on my formation journey. I main novice mistress, but then there were also a few sisters on a formation team, and they would give me class. I would have different classes, various classes with them.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Like the history of the order?
Yes, that would be part of it. The catechism, because I had to grow in my faith as well.
Sure.
I had a bit of it outside, but I had a lot to learn, really. So that was great. There was a lot of learning, really, about the saints. Learned about the different saints, well, about prayer life.
And these are regular classes that you're having in a small group.
These were classes.
Any tests?
No tests, thank God.
That's part of class. No tests.
So yes, that was the learning side of it with regard to the classes. But then your formation is going on within the monastery, and with working with living with the sisters, and you're learning, and you're trying to grow in virtue. Still trying.
Different personalities coming together,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Wow, and testing your own patience.
Oh yes, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
How many years did that period take, the novitiate?
So the novitiate, I got the habit in January 2017, and I made my first profession in 2019.
Oh, okay.
And then my final profession yesterday.
That's wonderful. Wow.
Yeah.
And that brings us up to yesterday, the solemn profession. Wow, this has been wonderful. In our next segment, I want you to explain what it's like to live in the enclosure to our audience. Because, we told people at St. John's and at Mother Cabrini Church in New York, we were coming here for your solemn profession into the cloister of St. Clare. They had a gazillion questions. Why? How? What goes on in there? So, and I'm sure our audience today has the same question. So we'll continue this.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's fine.
This has been Father LOUIE having a great time with Sister Marie Clare as she explains the steps from finding God from that dark hole to the present, yesterday being her final vows and profession of faith in the order in Christ and her enclosure here at the Poor Clares, Galway. We'll continue. God bless you. Join us, Father LOUIE at hotmail.com, in case you need to reach me.
those fingers go.